एक छोटा सा माइक्रोचिप या सेमीकंडक्टर, ताइवान की शक्ति उसके F-16 वाइपर लड़ाकू विमान या पेट्रियट मिसाइल से कहीं ज्यादा इस सेमीकंडक्टर या माइक्रोचिप से आती है। और आज तक पर हम आपको दिखाएंगे कैसे रेत और पत्थर से पॉलीसिलिकॉन के ऐसे इस तरह के छोटे छोटे टुकड़े बनते हैं, सिलिकॉन की इनगॉट बनती है और कैसे उससे वेफर बनता है सिलिकॉन का, और कैसे उससे ये माइक्रोचिप बनाया जाता है। और ये माइक्रोचिप जो मिसाइलों में भी लगता है और मोबाइल फोन में भी लगता है, आपकी रोजमर्रा की हर चीज में ये छोटे छोटे माइक्रोचिप लगे हैं जो बनते ज्यादातर यही ताइवान में है। Gabriel Cho is the marketing director of Micronics, one of the largest semiconductor manufacturers here in Taiwan, and he joins us on the India Today special. Mr. Cho, when it comes to these semiconductors, what makes Taiwan a leader in manufacturing these semiconductors?
I think it resides in several aspects. First thing is for the education. You know, the government and the country for the education is very focused with, for example, fundamental physics, chemistry, mathematics, statistical kind of education. So that builds the foundation of the manpower needed for this industry. As we know, this is a high tech, and which requires not only the manpower, the mind, the brain, as well as the infrastructure. So, for example, providing a stable supply of electrical powers, water supply, and everything else. Okay. Other than that, I think the entire supply chain. So, for example, the wafer production, the testing, the assembly. So all the supply chain, that's needs a lot of coherence, cooperation in the industry. So in Taiwan, I think it provides a very provident environment to develop all this. Yeah.
The semiconductors or the microchips that are manufactured here, what are they used for?
Okay, it's basically everywhere. Okay, so imagine in your household, in the living room, you have TV, you have a mobile phone, you have a networking device for the Wi-Fi connectivity. Outside with the cars, with in the sky with the satellites, everything that resides with electronics. There are semiconductor inside. Yeah.
How does Taiwan ensure, or in this company, how do you ensure that the product you manufacture is fail-safe? Because medical equipment, you have to ensure, I mean, lives depend on it, or in automobiles, for example.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that takes two. Actually, we work a lot with our customer. Okay, they tell us how much they need in the future, and usually we call that the forecast. So that's especially like more than a year or 2 years forecast. They tell us in upfront, and we prepare everything properly. So we prepare, for example, the raw material and everything else to ensure the manufacturing can go smoothly.
And to have a resilient supply chain, you procure raw material, or Taiwan procures a lot of raw material from Japan. How is supply chain management being ensured so that any turmoil does not impact it?
Okay, this is actually a very complicated issue. So you just talk about, for example, Japan. In the companies, a major proportion of the raw wafer coming from Japan. And not only that, we talk about chemical gas that's utilized in the manufacturing and many things else. And that's coming from the globe. Basically, semiconductor takes a global supply chain. To ensure that runs smoothly, I think just the past 2 years, everybody faced a shortage of semiconductor supply. So to avoid that kind of surge or going under, we need to prepare very properly in advance. So honestly, for the semiconductor manufacturing, one wafer from raw wafer to the finished product typically takes months. So typically like 2 or 3 months. Even some product more complicated, even longer. And there are many steps, thousands of manufacturing steps. So if one step's material or supply goes wrong, it has to stop. Okay, and so that we to ensure that we have very good forecast and a very good you can say reservoir or preparation of the raw material. That's needed for the manufacturing processes. Yeah, that's the key.
ये न के बराबर दिखने वाला छोटा सा सेमीकंडक्टर ही ताइवान का ब्रह्मास्त्र है। इस तरह के ये छोटे छोटे सेमीकंडक्टर आपके मोबाइल फोन से लेकर दुनिया के बड़े बड़े देशों की मिसाइलों तक में लगे हैं और एक अनुमान के मुताबिक दुनिया भर में 90% से ज्यादा जो सेमीकंडक्टर्स हैं वो ताइवान में निर्मित है। अब अगर चीन के साथ रिश्ते और खराब होते हैं या ताइवान का ब्लॉकेड होता है या युद्ध होता है तो दुनिया भर में इन सेमीकंडक्टर्स की सप्लाई पर बुरा असर पड़ेगा। ना कारें लोगों को मिलेंगी, ना मोबाइल फोन मिलेंगे, ना फ्रिज, ना टीवी, ना रोजमर्रा की इलेक्ट्रॉनिक की और जरूरतों का सामान। और इसीलिए ताइवान का दुनिया भर से प्रजातंत्र में विश्वास रखने वाले देशों से यही कहना है कि चीन की विस्तारवादी नीति पर अंकुश लगाने की आवश्यकता है, वरना दुनिया की अर्थव्यवस्था और रफ्तार दोनों पर बुरा असर पड़ेगा।